Give Kendo the hat. Oh, man.
Kendo has the hat. All right, we are good. We are getting set up. Thanks for waiting, guys. We have Disbanded versus FML eSports. We are just waiting on the final ready from the teams. They opted to wait instead of forfeit, so we are going to get this game started. All right, I just got the ready from Kendo, so we are off to the races. I guess the draft at least. All right, so I'm joined today by Pete. I had to go to
Hey
bed,
guys.
so hey Pete, how's it going?
It's
Uh,
coming along.
I feel
We've
like
talked enough about that
I
already.
feel like we have because we waited a really long time.
Yeah, trust me. His music was far more interesting than whatever I have to say.
I don't know. Yeah, Pete was gonna read his medical textbook out loud to you guys, so we
Yeah.
spared you that.
You're welcome.
Anyway, we have Disbanded over here on the left. We have FML Esports on the right. Disbanded currently sitting at fourth place in Division C West. FML Esports currently sitting at 10th place in Division C West. This is a bit of a friendly rivalry, I'm told. So, looking forward to seeing some fun drafts here. We were threatened with Cho'Gall and Lost Vikings in the lobby, so maybe they'll follow through with that. But I don't know.
One can hope.
We can hope.
Although Dragonshire might not be the map for either of those.
I don't know. I've seen Cho'Gall work on Dragonshire. It takes a little bit of effort, but you can do it.
Right.
Alright, we have a Diablo band coming up first on the side of Disbanded. Um, I mean, Diablo's pretty solid all around these days, so I definitely respect that. Garage the other,
Ooh,
solid tank that people like banning these days. So
right.
that's,
Pinching the tank pool. That's a
yeah, interesting.
should open up some new possibilities.
Oh yeah, also just a note, Deckard is not allowed in NGS for 13 days, so you'll have to wait until I believe that takes us to week 5 to see Deckard. So stay tuned for weeks. He'll be here eventually. He's old. It takes a while for him to walk up, but all right.
Uh,
So it should be noted that both Disbanded and FML Esports have a high priority on Stukov, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see Disbanded pick that up early here. It's probably a comfort.
he's not a bad first pick for sure. He offers basically the all-around healing, zoning kind of thing you want out of your support.
Mhm.
And he picks up that silence and root up at 13 with the combination there, as I'm sure you can talk about because you play him way more than I
Yeah,
do.
I like him. I like Zukov a lot. I mean, it depends actually a lot on like the comfort of the player going with the route. You don't see it all the time in NGS. They do, they do pick up
There it
Stukov.
is.
Yeah. So again, like Stukov does do basically everything you want out of support. Like a lot of good like AOE healing, a lot of good burst healing, a lot of good zone control, the ability to set up combos. Basically, everything you can want, like Stukov basically does. So
Yeah.
solid
So
pickup.
that really leaves Malfurion as the last tier one support coming up, but Phoenix was also left over. So
Yeah,
we'll
Phoenix.
see if
Ooh,
they
ooh.
go into
There are
the
some.
double assassin right
Yeah,
away.
there are some meta picks right there. Phoenix and Maiev. Maiev I don't think is usually let through. In the previous series, we saw Maiev banned out twice. So yeah.
Right, because Maiev can set things up, just goes in, lays down that bind on the cage at 10, and sets things up for the rest of her team as she gets out. And Phoenix offers that ranged, kind of consistent damage that you like to see, really as an all around good assassin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Interesting to
he
see
can,
what the next two pickups here will be for Disbanded. I do actually want to make a
yeah,
quick note about Stukov, right? We were talking about this a little bit before, but Stukov actually in Division C is the least winning support, besides from Tyrande, who was only played once and lost. So he's sitting
right.
at like 32%. So maybe priority not super justified, or maybe that's just a consequence of playing Stukov a lot. Like we're not really sure, but
Yeah. I'd
hoping to
like
see
to see
some.
a tank picked up here before the.
Well, you
Okay,
got your
there we go.
wish.
Just because otherwise it opens up another ban for a tank to pinch it even further.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
that's a.
now,
Yep.
if I'm over on FML Esports Red Team side, looking at who to ban, it's kind of hard. Probably a solo laner, given that they've got a good three-man set up already.
Yeah, I could see them going into Soul Laner or another damage dealer. They already Disbanded already has like the core of the team basically, so they don't really.
Right.
Their last two picks are very flexible, so like I really like that Johanna pickup there. Also because it's good at dealing with Phoenix because of the blinds. So
Yeah,
Really
it's
solid
absolutely
draft.
true.
It's yeah, they are FML is in a bit of a pinch because it's really right now like a choice of do they have a solo lane they don't want to deal with, or is there another damage dealer that they don't want to deal with?
Right, or something to kind of counter the engage they're looking for with Maya Phoenix.
Hmm. But
And
I mean,
so,
FML does have like the next two picks, so they can pick up the things that would disrupt them if they desire.
right. So they do ban the solo laner. Okay.
Hmm.
I think that's totally appropriate.
Yeah, pretty solid pick. They can't really argue too much with taking Malthael out. Always a strong solo laner.
And on this side, we could see either that a support pinch or another tank
That's a
pinch.
good point. I actually would be leaning towards a Malfurion ban just because Maiev pulling people into the roots with the tethers is a pretty it's a pretty strong combo
Right.
to just kind of
It's
set up
it's
fights.
pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And at 10 with the Cage Twilight Dream, that's a lot of
Oh, you know
disruption.
what I really want? I want Cage and I want the laser beam, all right? Like I
I was
really want
thinking about that.
I really want
If
listen, I just
if
want
we
a
see an
laser.
ETC, I'd love to see an ETC picked up
The
on the
dream.
red team here. Just a Cage Mosh laser
Dream
combination there
dream combo. I don't know if I'd
with
go into
Maiev
ETC though.
spanning her Qs.
Yeah, but
Uh, I've seen some pretty dirty combinations there.
yeah, but they do have Stuka and Johanna, so I don't know if FML would really want to pick up an ETC there with already like a decent amount of disruption.
It's a really good point. So then, who's that leave as tanks?
Not much, really. I mean,
You could go ETC and think about doing the stage dive.
mm-hmm. Could do a
Muradin's
Muradin.
good for that disruption, just the solo lockdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Arthas could be good against Hanzo Johanna.
oh Blaze is still up actually, so Blaze could
Oh,
be a
Blaze is
solid
up.
pick. You know, that's that. You know, actually Blaze I think would work pretty well with my Evan Phoenix. Well, Phoenix definitely a Blaze pickup
You
would be
know,
able to combo the slows with.
I kind of like to see Blaze Arthas and put Blaze in the solo lane.
We should
It's
pick
two
a.
solid tanks. You've got good backline damage.
Well, what if you
You
held Arthas? You know, just
you
for
could,
this
but
phase.
there's no reason they don't need to pick up Malfurion here. I
That's
can't see
true.
any reason for a double support on blue side. And Arthas does well into Maiev Phoenix because they're both auto kind of based, and
Okay.
Maiev has to get close. But they do go to Hakamurden, so that's a nice beefy front line. So I can't argue with that. It's kind of what I was thinking, just going a different route.
Yep. So the Haka always
And
great on this map, able to take control of the solo lane and then also burrow into the shrines whenever he's needed.
yeah, and without Malthael, he not much can really beat him. He can always hold lane with Essence and his burrow. So we'll see what the blue side wants to pick up to deal with him. I could see it being Sonya, Leo, really any of the common ones. Thrall. No one really talks about him because he's kind of cycles in and out of the meta depending on how strong people think his lightning is. I think if you always go Echo the Elements, it gives you really good sustain and wave clear, which is kind of what you need in that solo lane. So
Right.
Sonya,
Yeah,
Junkrat.
Sonya's the other solo lane pickup that you would consider in this
Yep.
situation. I feel like that's probably gonna be a bit of a stalemate up top. Sonya and Dahaka both having like a decent amount of self sustain.
You're right. And that's kind of how it goes with Sonya using her whirlwind to heal up and Dahaka saving the drag to interrupt that. And there's the Malfurion
There's the
coming up.
mouth. I don't know what else it would have been. But okay, interestingly on Disbanded, I see this a lot. We see Junkrat and Hanzo a lot picked together, and I'm a little skeptical of that always because in my mind it's difficult, I think, to get enough damage to confirm kills with Hanzo and Junkrat. It's a lot of poke damage for sure, but after you poke people from afar, there's nothing really that you can do if they just like walk up and decide to kill you after like withstanding that damage, right? So that's
That's
always the
that
concern I have.
I'd say
Those
that's
two.
true until 10.
That's true,
Because
yeah.
once 10 comes around, then you get poke and burst with Junkrat's Riptire and then Hanzo just locking people down with a
Yep.
good arrow.
Yep.
And then you poke them down, you throw in that tire, you can separate the team or try to blow people up, or at the very least, push them back. And, kills don't necessarily win games. It's all about map control in Heroes of the Storm and winning
That
that
is true.
objective.
Yeah, we've seen that before. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to see these two teams though. I like both of these drafts, and it should be fun.
Yeah, it should be very interesting because, like you said, on the one side, on the blue side, we're looking for Pokin to control that lane, control the shrine, and then on the red side, we're really looking at that engage with
Yeah.
Dahaka maybe pushing his lane out and then trying to get that burr in behind as Maiev uh, flies in from the side.
Yep. All right, as we get into game here, we're going to go ahead and introduce the teams. On the left side, we have Disbanded. We have Cersei playing Johanna, Skivo playing Junkrat, Fleur de Mer on, I believe, that is Hanzo. We have Sierras on Sonya, and we have Vebzi on Stukov.
And
Over on the
over
right
on
side.
the right side, the red side, we have FML eSports, we have Snowglare on Dahaka, MJ Doom on Phoenix, Drink and Run 152 on Malfurion, Consort on Maiev, and Kendo on the Muradin.
All right. Looks like it's going to
And
be
just,
pretty standard to begin with. Teams opting to
yeah,
brawl in the
so
mid lane.
and Hanzo is going that target practice, so looking to get those Q stacks early to give even more burst in his rotation.
Nothing too unusual in the talent picks. Show them for level 1.
Yeah, I'll be the
Look at that 5-man tether.
The
Yeah.
tether, rather.
That
And
Skivo
Maiev is
flow.
spamming her Qs as Stukov laid down the silence, which caught the Muradin there.
Yep. 1-for-1 trade. That is a very early demonstration of just like the combo that you can pull off with Maiev, right?
Right,
Like,
and,
if Kirsten's not careful, she's gonna get rooted and taken out as well.
Yep.
So
Looks
that's
like she had her trait down, and that cost her.
yeah. That's again, that's what we were talking about. Maiev with Malfurion is a pretty deadly combo just because you're able to force people into the roots. Bebsy is face checking the book push. It doesn't get hit with the roots. Nice displacement by Junkrat. He walks away safely.
Yeah, so from my perspective, I'll be really focusing on Maiev, just seeing if she can get those engages. And then looking at that level 1 talent, she did go with Nayusha's Memento, which gives her those bouncing auto attacks. Really looking for the combination, but we'll see if Johanna can interrupt that with a good blind.
And we'll see also if Junkrat is able to do enough, displacement and disruption to kind of keep Maiev from getting onto the side of Disbanded.
Right. Muradin's jump was interrupted, but he's a tanky boy. But he gets pushed right back in, so he's going to get some more poked down.
Yeah,
He'll
so
heal that back up, though, with third
nice
land
mines.
pretty quickly.
Nice mines by Junkrat already, trying to get, force FML out of position and get those picks.
Yeah. Just some brawling down in the bot lane between Phoenix and Hanzo. Phoenix wins out on those trades if he keeps them nice and short because he gets his shield back much faster than Hanzo's health comes back. But blue side's controlling both shrines while Junkrat is being
Good job in the mid lane. Yep, he goes down.
yeah.
Jumped on by
Just,
Muradin and just kind of stunned out, looks like.
Yeah, turns out Junkrat's got no real way to get away if the tether lands, because the tether comes into a root, comes into a stun for Muradin. That was just a good combination there. On the bot lane, we got Johanna going unstoppable and just walking right over.
Yep.
Away.
Gonna do a quick check in on the top lane. It looks like Disbanded has control of that shrine. It seems to be pretty even, so I'm gonna go back to the bot lane. Nothing too exciting is happening up there. So, oh, well, something is pulled by
Dahaka gets the dragon.
He actually has to
Dahaka
be a little bit
presses-
careful. He uses his essence.
He's got the essence coming out, so they're just going to be scrapping back and forth. I don't expect anything to happen unless Dahaka gets a drag into the 2 turrets and Sonya eats a bunch of damage.
Yeah, we'll have to watch out for rotations on that top lane, though. Alright, down the bot lane, we just kind of have teams brawling over the control of this moon shrine down here. Nice tether on Maiev. That root is going to get Johanna, but she is safe. Junkrat pushing everyone away. No damage coming out there.
Yeah, and FML eSports did take their siege camp, but it made it about halfway down that lane before they were just wiped out, so they didn't get too much value out of that.
Yep. Looks like Maiev has yet to pick up a level 4 talent. They've actually, that's interesting. I don't know why they're holding that. They've been at level 6 for quite a while now, so.
Yeah, that's
Sonya has to be
mistake,
careful.
'cause
Maiev is coming up to help Dahaka.
I haven't seen much variation in what Maiev takes up for. It's usually just that extra damage on Qs.
Oh, Sonya actually uses the spear to go back in and almost gets away. But one last Q for Maev. Finishes her off.
We'll see if Maev wants to start talenting things, because 7 is where she starts hitting that spike, where hitting extra people on those Qs starts dealing a lot more damage.
And in the mid lane, we had a return kill on Malfurion. Hanzo picking him off from the distance. Look, he was actually behind the walls and kind of
Just
him,
checking
like
on those Hanzo stacks for you. He is at 3 of 5, so he's working his way up there.
Well, are they gonna get the interrupt of this? Junkrat gets the displacement. Maev does not finish capturing the Dragon Knight. Murden trying to zone, but Zukov has the extended range on Lurking Arm now, so he's able to get that interrupt. Easy peasy.
Alright, Maev did decide to take that Blade Dance, so the physical damage on her Fan of Knives at 4, but is waiting on her 7.
Yeah, Maev's in the business of holding all talents into the next talent tier, so we'll see her pick up one eventually.
Yeah. And otherwise, Hanzo just talented into that Q build at 4 for the extra wave clear.
It looks like Disbanded trying to make a play for the Dragon Knight, but the Moonshine gets captured by Maev, so they're not able to take that.
Muradin doing his best. Doing what he does best. Soaking damage.
Oh, nice root on Junkrat. In the mid lane, Junkrat uses the mine to try to get away, but...
Ooh, that damage.
That damage from Phoenix.
Pretty sure that's that Phoenix level 1 talent, where hitting a hero 3 times in a row means your next attack deals 175% more damage.
Yeah, I
so
believe we saw that in
action. Damage coming out.
Yeah, adding a little bit of burst to Phoenix. So nice pickup there on that level 1 talent.
So red team is almost to 10, while blue is just hitting 9 right now. So if things keep going this way, I would expect them to hit 10, make a play, and pick up the Dragon Knight. But we'll see if they're able to do that as they pick up those bruisers over on the right side.
Murden trying to push up the lane a little bit. Junkrat already has set up for an interrupt though, so I don't think they're going to be able to capture that.
So here we go. They are 10. They're controlling both shrines. Although Johanna's going to take that bottom one back before they get a chance to capture, I think. Yep.
Murden also needs to interrupt Junkrat before he uses that concussion mine. Junkrat just kind of keeping an eye on the capture progress and interrupting at the last moment.
He's got that mine and those grenades coming through. It's real hard to do anything with Junkrat just landing.
That was a good root on Maev. Maev does have Warden's Cage picked up. We have Avatar on Murden. We have Twilight Dream on Malfurion. Purification Salvo on Phoenix. Guys, do the laser, please. Purification Salvo comes out right now as FML grabs the Dragon Knight.
Yeah.
So
and
nice
Haka used his isolation up top. Didn't confirm the kill, but again, kills don't win games. It's all about the zoning and controlling the shrines on Dragon Knight.
That was actually some really nice timing by FML, making sure that they got the Dragon Knight and basically zoned Disbanded away from the Dragon Knight before level 10 hit on the side of Disbanded. So, now Furion's a little bit of trouble there without Muradin to zone and the Dragon Knight. He just kind of
we saw Maev and Phoenix rotate bottom with the Haka coming through, and Malfurion loitered a bit too long, and now Muradin might have wished he had run away a little sooner too.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh, he pops Avatar.
He pops Avatar. He's gonna live a little bit longer, as the 3-man is picking up a front wall and a well down below.
Yeah, the rest of FML
Arrow
be careful.
comes through.
Yeah.
Phoenix jumps away, gets
he's okay.
through the wall.
Ooh,
Maev's gonna pop the cage and jump.
Junkrat's going for the ultimate, trying to find Phoenix. Does not find him. Phoenix gets away just fine. Warden's Cage used to just kind of zone away the team from the walls there. So the bot lane does get away, but Muradin falls in the lane.
Alright, but that's 4 ults used on the blue side, while ults are now coming back up on the red side. So we'll see if they make note of that and try to go for a play. But, I mean, even if they don't, I think FML on the red side is in a good place now with 2 walls down, Dahaka coming in and pushing waves, and now they're getting things rolling.
They're going ahead and taking the Bruiser Camp up in the top lane. So you're going to get some wave pressure, trying to get Dahaka off of those walls. Dahaka's just going to use his duck down, use his essence, trying to get that tower for some XP real quick. Looks like Disbanded is making a play for the Bruiser Camp in the bottom lane.
So nice I'm going to be curious to see what Junkrat gets out of Rocket Ride this game. Dahaka has Burrow, Phoenix has a jump away, Maev has both a jump with her
Ooh, actually, in the mid lane,
Blink,
hold on thought. In the mid lane, we have been trying to get a pick on Sonya, but Twilight Dream doesn't hit anyone. They're trying to dive the fort and get that pick, but nothing happened. And now they're getting collapsed on by the rest of Disbanded. Feared in trouble, dodges the Dragon's arrow. But he goes down. Trying to actually use Blessed Shield to try to confirm that, but it was not needed because Sonya just deleted him.
Yeah, Muradin whacking away at Johanna there. Neither of them are making much headway as they're both just hitting big beefcakes. So
Yep. But I mean, it's honestly that's not like too bad in the big scheme of things. FML still had people in all the lanes soaking the minion XP, so you know that's really just gonna put them back on even talent tiers, and they won't really fall behind just yet.
No,
like,
but Blue does have the tempo advantage as Maiev goes in a 3-4. Let's see if they can get out of this.
Nice
purification salvo comes out. Maiev gets pushed away, nearly saving her, but Junkrat comes through, and now it looks like Muradin's also gonna fall.
So close, 100 HP. Maiev actually got pushed back. It looked like one Junkrat, either grenade or auto attack, finished that one off.
Yeah, I think it was an auto attack, just following her through that shove.
I think so, yeah.
And
wow,
they
okay.
picked up the Dragonite, so they turned a Malfurion pick into a Dragonite, which is really good on them. Really makes you wonder what Maiev was doing going in 3v4 though.
You know, it might have been a case where they thought they could get that quick pick on the bottom, and they just intended to get it real fast, but found themselves outnumbered in the end.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're right. They probably overestimated their burst damage, which isn't as substantial as I think they were hoping.
Yeah, that's always the problem, right? You go in for the pick and you end up having an entire team fight. So.
Yep, and I like what Disbanded is doing here. They took out the immediate fort in the middle, and now they got the fort or the front wall and damage on the fort down bot lane. And for those who maybe aren't aware or don't pay as close attention, on Dragon Shrines, really, the bot lane is considered one of the main win conditions for a couple reasons. It's one of the shorter lanes, but also if you control it, you can control 3 mercenary camps, and if you can get that double push with golems, and then with the bruiser camp giving you that spell aura, it can really be devastating, and you can push for a win without even a Dragon Knight if you are able.
Yeah, this is one of those interesting maps where actually most of the there are no mercenaries that go into the mid lane, so really, and it's the top lane is one of those things you don't really want to push too much because the bridge offers a lot of control to the defending team. So it's one of those cases where bot lane is like the safest lane to push and also offers an insane amount of mercenary control there. It looks like she's gonna get caught, but she just, you know, like shadows away. Rid pops Avatar to survive getting knocked back into the enemy team.
Yeah,
looks like FML
both teams played that about as well as you'd expect. With the tanks in the front line and the back line kind of just running away.
Yep. FML has to be careful. They don't want to pick this fight before they hit level 16. Dahaka gets that up in the top lane. Looks like he's grabbing the walls and the minion wave. He has to be really careful though because the rest of Disbanded is coming up to find him. This is a little tense. I don't know if he's gonna get out of this.
Nah. Well,
the other. Okay, he's got the.
Burrow, but I don't think he's gonna be able.
He popped his essence. He's able to drag someone into the roots and actually escape. You know.
I am quite impressed.
Ooh,
he pops the isolation. Yeah. I'm not sure if he's going to get much more out of that.
No, probably not. But he does get away with his life, so, you know, that's not nothing.
I mean...
Bandit takes down the towers there.
It's a good timing, too, as the shrines come back up. Phoenix is down in that bot lane, so he's going to be able to capture that. And they've also got a golem pushing down there, so that fort should go down. Sonya doing the bruisers over on the left side. Maybe... interesting timing on that, but that will be pushing as they're trying to control the shrine on the top lane. So they could make use of that, push us 4 or even 5, and try to get some structure damage out while they're under that aura and with the help of those mercenaries.
Yeah, that was a pretty smart slow push on the side of FML eSports. They actually, there are siege giants on both sides down there, but I think it looked like FML cleared them out a little bit faster than Disbanded did, and Disbanded didn't respond to that, and actually that slow push ended up gaining FML an entire fort. So it's kind of illustrating the, you know, what you can get out of good minion control.
Yeah, we'll see Dahaka Bird up top, so he's going to get that shrine.
Be careful. He face checks that, but again, he's Muradin. He jumps to safety.
He's Muradin. He pops the Avatar. He's whacking away at the Johanna there.
got a
I don't
wet
think
noodle
either
fight.
one are getting much out of it.
Wet noodle fight on the shrine there.
But we will see what happens as Phoenix's shields go down, so maybe they just want to back off. Although with Muradin's avatar popped, he's about as tanky as he'll ever be.
Yeah, avatar expires. This is a 4v5 on the side of FML eSports. The Haka is just trying to control the minion waves up the top. The top 4 does go down to that push, so that's a little unfortunate. But so far, each side is in a stalemate. It's a little bit tough. Disbanded is grouping as 5, knowing that they can win the fights 4v5 if the Haka doesn't respond fast enough, or if they get a pick here, right? If they pick someone here, like 3v5, that's like gonna be huge.
And I like that. It goes back to what we were saying at the beginning, where Disbanded is looking to poke, group up, and just kind of whittle things down while they gain control. And FML engage, where they can get blow people up.
Yep. Sorry, you're cutting out a little bit there, but yeah, that's a good point. Like being, it's okay. Yeah, just basically, you know, Disbanded playing their comp real well, poking everything down, just kind of really doing this siege super well, taking the fights when they know they can win, and they have the numbers advantage, and overall, they're solid decision
They're
making.
challenging FML eSports to outplay them, and at the moment, they're just kind of waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, up in the top, we have Sonya taking on a fight with Dahaka. Dahaka backed off a little bit. Sonya popped Wrath of the Berserker. So
yeah, I'd like to see Dahaka wait that out, 'cause as he continues to fight Sonya, Sonya can keep that up.
He's super low. Oh, there he goes. He had full essence. This is going to be a little bit tough, though.
He's saving his isolation, so I don't know what for.
Oh, hang on. There's an engage. There's an engage in 2 sides here. We had a Dragon's Arrow down on bot.
I think Dahaka's gonna go. Oh, nope, Dahaka gets out, but Sonya controls that shrine, so.
Alright. There's an attempted engage down in bot lane. Hanzo used the Dragon's Arrow, but it doesn't look like anything happened. Maiev teleports to the middle of the team. I wonder if Warden's case is up. Not getting used
It is, but she didn't find that tether, and that tether
is going to hit 4 people, but I don't think it's going to have much of an effect. Stukov just you know, pops his heal, and everyone's built up back to full.
Yeah, they really need to.
Stukov talents, actually. We have Lingering Spine, so we don't have the root at 13, but we have the Silence Lingers, so Stukov is able to, you know, position a little bit more easily because he doesn't have to maintain that the entire time he's using it.
Yeah, and you know, Malfurion did not opt for the healing reduction.
Also gets low. Maiev gets taken out.
Maiev gets blown up. Tried that engage, got the cage down, but it's not enough as Junkrat pops the ult. Isn't gonna. Ooh.
I think he had the ice block, but I think he came out of it just a split second. It looked like a frame too early.
Or right on time, depending on your point of view.
Well, yeah, if you're on the side of Disbanded, you're like, ah, yeah, we nailed that.
So that's a 3 for 0. Dahaka's gonna delay to capture just a bit, but Junkrat is riding up on his rocket there.
Is just barely in time to interrupt that.
Yeah, and
they're trying to maintain control.
But
yeah, Johanna's coming up.
You have to wonder if the staggered death is going to be worth it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Phoenix is here. Junkrat has been zoned out, but he now has, you know, his shotgun grenades, and both the Haka and Phoenix have to get off the point.
Yeah, and Johanna being there against a Phoenix is going to make that very
It's a good thing
they
left too, actually, because Hanzo had just fired a Dragon's Arrow there, so that would have been 2 kills on the side of.
And with play of the game, if that had hit, you'd know he would have been there instantly for that highlight reel.
Did he do? Oh yeah, he did.
Yep.
Alright, pseudo global on the side of
FML really just needs their 20s for I think any hope of salvation here. Sonya's kind of walking back and forth on that Dragon Knight. Let's see. Sonya is Sierras, so that's the player name.
Yeah, you know, I think I like that because they're just kind of waiting for the minion wave to show up, and that way the dragon is you know, at higher health and is able to siege for longer. It looks like Johanna uses a bunch of shields trying to catch out Malfurion.
Ooh, Maiev gets the cage down around all 5, jumps out. Twilight Dream goes down, hits a few.
I think it only hit the Dragon Knight and like Johanna there, so.
Salvo comes out, but Stukov had healed his team all the way back up to full as it was coming out. So mid fort goes down.
Dragonite
As
tries to get Maev at that last tick of health, which is just enough regen to make it out safely to the bottom keep. Oh man, the
so,
shotgun grenade is
so
so
what do we
annoying.
net? We net 5 ults used on the blue side or on the red side. Only one on the blue side,
Yeah,
and
that's a
they
really good
got the
point.
fort with that Dragonite.
That's a really good point.
And
FML did use
he gets
all
the
of their
timeout.
FML used all of their ultimates, so they're
So
gonna
if they
they're in a little
if
bit
they
of a
were
tough spot.
counting, right, they could look to try to siege down on some of this fort.
But FML is trying to pick an engage here without their ults. Okay, almost in
Well,
isolation. Nice shove
shove
by
away.
Steve.
They do have their 20s now, so that's a good contagion into an astral communion would actually mean
We'll see if they can
I
land
don't
it.
need right, but
The problem
the
is,
ideal situation there is like what 7 seconds of silence.
yeah, I mean the problem is that like they have a really tough time getting in there because Zuko can shove one part of that combo out. Junkrat has the just like displacement current like mine to get everyone just out of position entirely. You know, Johanna's able to interrupt. You know, a well-timed stun will be able to interrupt a lot of those ultimate casts. So. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I really hope they can land it. Can you imagine the contagion
I
and dream in the cage? They haven't quite
I
been able to
think
pull that off yet, but
I think they have all the tools now. Maev did go with that increased movement speed at 20, so a good blink with movement speed as Muradin is
there's
kind of
a
on an
bit of
island right now,
trouble.
but he's
Saved
I
by
think
Junkrat.
did he double jump with rewind there?
No, I think Junkrat hit him away. He still has rewind
That
up.
could have been.
So Junkrat doing a little bit of assisting the enemy team there.
You know, you win some, you lose some.
Well, I mean, it didn't really lose anything.
All right,
Sonya comes
Sonya and
into the fight.
Johanna. Maev is running, but definitely looking for it. Arrow comes out. Good cleanse by Malfira in there.
Yep,
That
nice
was
heads up play to make sure that no
well
one gets
done.
out too far.
Maev is low. A glance.
Ooh.
There's a 2-man silence. We still have a contagion up.
Oh man, it's super low though.
As,
Johanna's indestructible. Murding is taken out instead.
You know, for me, I always forget she has that talent, and I always get so excited as her health bar dips down to 0, and then I just see a 1500k shield pop
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, it's interesting that, you know, Dahaka was still in top lane, didn't react to that push at all. I don't know if I agree with that too much. Like, at this point in the game, it's not really essential that you get that top fort. The top fort doesn't actually do too much besides to relieve a little bit of sustain from the well that Disbanded has up there. So Dahaka looks like he opts to grab that top fort at 21 minutes into the game instead of joining his team for that team fight. I feel like a well-placed contagion there, like right on that pull into the Twilight Dream, might have turned the fight in FML's favor.
Yeah, I agree. To be honest, didn't even notice that Dahaka wasn't in that fight
Well,
as he
neither
sits
neither
in
did
that brush.
FML.
Right.
It's fine though. You know, they lost the bottom keep, so you know they're gonna have to deal with a lot of lane pressure. But all in all, still have a chance to win a fight and take the Dragon Knight all the way to the court. And you know, at this stage in the game, a single Dragon Knight can go over and win. Haka opting to not fight Sonya. Disbanded is set up in the middle of this lane. I don't know if FML is in position
That's
to interrupt
that's
this.
a curious. You know, they don't have vision on probably
Yeah.
the left 2/3 of the map, which
The
is
Haka reacts a
probably
little
part
bit
of
too
that.
late. Yeah, okay. So the Haka
But
was trying to wait to make sure that Sonya left. Sonya left a lot earlier than the Haka realized, so he
yeah,
didn't quite have vision in order to make that the proper decision.
you have to imagine 23 minutes into the game that this Dragon Knight is gonna take down this Nexus.
I think
Probably,
there's no question there, and
yeah. I think we're just gonna watch this get knocked down bit by bit as Maev does go in, gets the 3-man tether.
but he just gets right out, right as the tether expires.
Takes her
too.
right away. Salvo comes out, but also gets knocked away as the Nexus
That was
falls.
some real nice job by Disbanded, interrupting all of the ults there. Just Malfurion went in for
Right.
Twilight Dream, Phoenix went in for the Purification Salvo, and just nothing.
It looked real pretty as the Dragon Knight just right-clicked on the core.
Yeah, switching over to the stats here. Stukov and Hanzo having a perfect game, no deaths. Also, Dahak and Phoenix actually not going down there, so still pretty good play from them, trying to stay alive and get the damage and the experience out.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at it and you look at the damage numbers and you say, wow, blue team really outdamaged the red team
Yeah,
here.
Junkrat did work in that game. Look at 117,000 hero damage, which is a little bit. It's a lot of damage for a
Yeah.
Junkrat, especially.
And granted, the Muradin took probably about 40k of that damage just and then healed it back up after walking away. But still, that just means Junkrat was playing the composition as was expected with Hanzo backing him up there.
Cool. All right, gonna switch over to talents real quick, and I'm gonna leave that up for a bit as we get ready for game 2. See y'all in a bit. All right, we are back with game 2 of Disbanded versus FML eSports. So Disbanded up 1-0 in the series, taking the win after a drawn-out fight on Dragon Shatter. We now move to Infernal Shrines.
And we'll have red team FML Esports with first ban, first pick. And we'll see if they mix things up. Falindrith and I were talking that this map operates really quite differently than Dragon Shrines, where on Dragon Shrines it's a lot of the rotation as well as a bit of playing to your comp, whereas Infernal Shrines offers a lot more to teams who can hold their own in the zone and then engage at opportune times
Yeah, so
as
we'll
teams
see.
walk through those choke points.
Yeah, so we'll see if FML or Disbanded want to shake up their drafts a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I agree with all those points. Like the comp that they had would definitely have a lot more control over, an objective that they had to fight over. So basically, forcing Disbanded to come into that composition of Maiev, Malfurion, Dahaga, and everyone would be a lot more effective in these, kind of close quarters contested shrines. Garrus ban again on the side of FML. Just
Same ban as last time, which is
I could respect that.
fair.
Yeah.
I hate playing against a good Garrosh. It feels really bad to get
Yeah.
thrown and die.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's one of those things where it's almost more like a psychological thing, right? Because like the early kills aren't worth that much in terms of XP, but it's really just demoralizing to just be thrown out of position, and it's like, yeah, I shouldn't have been there, but he grabbed me anyway, so now I'm dead.
And right, and it's so funny because back in the day when he first came out, it was a miniature pull into throw into death, and then he got changed into a knock-up, and everyone thought he'd be ruined and would never see play again. And then people just walked up to the throw into death, and very few things changed.
Yep.
But he does offer that zone control on this map, and the Stukov gets banned
Good
out.
band. Yeah, I like that. Again, Stukov again, just a lot of good zone control on this map. His silence field, especially on shrines, is just really oppressive because it makes it really difficult for a team to go through those choke points and actually get the engage that they want. So now that they don't have first pick and can't first pick Stukov away, then both of these teams again have high priority on Stukov. So definitely did their scouting and made sure that if they don't get Stukov first, then no one's gonna get him.
So now the question is, does Malfurion become first pick worthy? Or, like you were saying, on this map, Alex Straza comes in as a top tier support, given her zone control. But we do get the Maiev again.
I like that. Not afraid to stick with it. I definitely see Maiev getting a lot more of the engages that she wants around the shrines on this map instead of the shrines on Dragonshire. So, yeah, not afraid to try it again. I like it.
I agree. I do like a good Maiev. I think her engages are very unique, and in a coordinated environment can be devastating. So we'll see if they can pull that out this time.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, we'll see now if Disbanded wants to pick up Malfurion themselves, the other top tier. Hanzo Johana.
Okay.
All right.
So very similar to last time. Good sustain poke and damage from Hanzo, and Johanna offering that ability to front line and break through that tether of the cage with her unstoppable, whatever it's called.
Kind of funny though, because it is basically the same first few picks, right? I mean, we had
last time
we
don't have Stukov
Stukov
now, so I'd expect to see a Malfurion come out here, and then hope to see a support pinch by FML Esports. But we'll see if they agree with me or if they've got a different ideas.
Yeah, I don't know. I also would like to see a Malf as much as I like Alex Strauza on this map. Dragons are cool. Uh, I think it's probably actually. What about a Diablo Malfurion here? Where
Uh,
Diablo's great on shrines and also provides the Apocalypse with the Cage combo.
right. I think that would be a really good three-man with the tether.
Ooh, Diablo
Diablo
Sonya.
Sonya. Okay.
Also
So leave
solid.
the mouth up. But right, good solo lane, and Sonya does offer a lot in team fights as well, with that Wrath of the Berserker,
Yeah, I think that
giving her
they.
extra damage.
Yeah, I think that since they didn't pick Malfa up here on the side of FML, I suspect it might be a ban candidate for them because
I
Disbanded gets the next pick and
I
Malfurion
agree.
is.
We'll see what Disbanded chooses to ban here. I'd be very interested to see if we get two support bans to see which supports do come through. Because I'm not sure how experienced these players might be as the support pools get withered down.
You know, in terms of so okay, all right, okay, that's interesting. I guess Disbanded either don't want to play Malf with the comp. I could see that actually, uh, or they're just doing a general support choke.
Right.
It is interesting that they chose to ban Malf when they had the next draft pick. But I think I definitely respect that, just kind of removing the supports from the pool. But the other thing this does is lets FML ban something else, right? Because it was likely going to be a Malfurion ban, just simply because Malf is one of the current like best supports in the game, and it frees FML up a lot to target ban something else
Right.
that
I
they
could
wouldn't
see
have
a
other have.
Malfail ban come out.
I had to deal with Diablo and
Just
Sonya. Yeah, there's a
right,
lot of
because
possible things
Malfail
too.
does do well into Sonya and Diablo.
I could see
Uh,
everything from like I could see a possible Alex ban, a possible Tychus ban too. Um, it's
right.
a lot of options for them.
Yeah,
Definitely taking
I'm
their time.
very curious. There's the
Alex
Alex ban.
Strauza,
All
all
right.
right.
We're gonna
No, I
that's
wanted Alex.
three supports banned and no supports taken yet. So what do you think we're gonna see for
I
supports?
think we're gonna see a Rhaegar on the side of
Hmm.
Disbanded. Or Uther, Rhaegar or Uther, because both of them have a cleanse. Okay, Lily.
Oh,
The other point I was gonna make is that the other hero who does have a cleanse is Lily. I don't know if I would have picked that up here specifically because this gives FML the chance to pick some non-auto attack damage. So it's just interesting pickup, but it is true. Lily is one of the heroes now that has one of the shortest cleanses in the game, which is definitely useful versus Diablo and Maiev. So I can kind of see the reasoning there.
so I'd like to see a mage.
I would too. I mean, with that Lily pick,
Which
definitely.
mage?
Oh, come
I
on.
think
Let's go Jaina, man. Let's get the ring
that's what I was
APOC.
thinking. I was
Dude,
thinking Jaina.
dude, what if we get the
Jaina
ring APOC
offers a
leech?
lot.
Wanna do it? You want
Uh,
to wanna do it?
yeah.
How about Uther with Divine Storm too, just for good measure?
I would be very surprised if Uther is able to walk that close to other
I would.
heroes.
Yeah, I don't actually advocate for that, but I just want it to happen. All right. I don't think it would be the
I'm
best
like,
option.
I mean, Anna Li Ming could show up.
All right,
Okay, there's
Lucio
Lucio
Kale
Kelvin.
this.
Okay,
Okay.
I think
Anna,
those are both
Anna Li Ming.
awesome choices.
That's a
Yeah,
little bit. That's way crazier than I was thinking.
yeah, I know. I'm just going out on a limb here. You know, you ban three supports and suddenly
No,
all bets are off.
I like
But
that.
yeah, Lucio Kelthas, talk me through this.
Yeah, so I think Lucio is just generally good. There's a lot of walls for Lucio to run around on Infernal Shrines. Gives him a lot of ability to just escape and taunt his opponents basically. Lucio also deals pretty well with Malthael's damage over time. The one problem point with that is Last Rites. Now that that is back in the meta since the Malthael changes, it's one of those situations where a nicely timed sound barrier can save someone, but if they're missing too much health, I mean, Last Rites is going to pierce through that anyway. So Lucio I think is a pretty nice, safe support. Like you don't need to target anything. The thing you most have to worry about is your positioning and when to use sound barrier. Kill is taken again just for
Zebo.
that shrine control, being able to get chain bomb, living bomb go off on everyone.
Yeah, and the late game insurance policy in the Zebo comes out.
It's true. Yeah, we'll see if FML is able to push the early game, hard enough so that Nazebo doesn't end up being a problem. But then again, Lucio is able to deal with Nazebo's damage fairly well, so we'll see how that goes. I think
Yeah, I think we're looking at basically identical comps to last game, where on Disbanded side, they're looking to poke out damage from afar and then go in with the finishers in Malthael and Hanzo's burst damage. And on FML side, again, it's looking for those picks, although Kael'thas does offer a bit more of that range damage zone control than they had last game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think FML is actually gonna have an easier time getting to the gauges that they want and getting to the backline this time. It's only Johanna as a solo tank, so and the rest of the team doesn't have as much CC as they had last time. Hanzo still has the Dragon's Arrow to try to get those engages at level 10, but until then, it's really reliant on the Zebo's walls and the team's positioning.
That's true.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and introduce the teams once again. On the left side, we have Disbanded. We have Skivo playing Nazebo. We have Circe playing... They're all stacked together. I'm bringing up the tab screen. We have Circe and Johanna. We have Skivo and Nazebo. Flirtimer and Hanzo. Bevsy on Lily. Sierras on Malthael.
And over on the red team, we have MJ Doom on Kael'thas, Kendo on Diablo, Drink and Run 152 on Lucio, Consort on Maiev, and Snowglare on Sonya.
Teams once again going to do the brawl in the mid lane. Lucio takes the first damage of the game with that vision arrow. Always forget that does damage.
Maiev going in, gets blinded immediately and doesn't get that tether stack. So she is a sad warden.
Yeah, talk us through. This is a different build for Maiev this time.
Yeah, so she's going, instead of those, I think she realized she wasn't getting as many autos off last game as she had. So she's not going to get as much out of those bouncing autos, and instead goes in for this increased damage on her tether. And then, so there's increased damage on the pull, and as you tether more and more heroes, you actually get increased damage on that auto attack that can be done.
Yeah.
And so just looking for a bit more burst of that damage right away instead of the sustained bouncing autos that she took last game.
Looks like FML is opting to do the 4-man rotation. They do have a bit more wave clear. Kael'thas is able to burn those waves down real fast. With the side of Disbanded going with the kind of the safer 1-3-1 lane position. So it doesn't look like Disbanded is actually going to be rotating that much. So this 4-man I don't think is going to get as much value as they would otherwise because you're trying to prevent those rotations.
So it's interesting, right? Because on the one side you have Mana Addict from Kael'thas, which I think is his go-to level.
Yeah,
talent, because as he gathers globes, he gets mana, regen, or he gets increased maximum mana, and once he gets 20, he gets that shield, which can come in huge to save his life in the case of like a last rites type situation.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It looks like FML opted to go ahead and take their siege camp a little bit before the shrine spawns up top. They also scout out Disbanded taking their own siege camp. We'll see if this invade is successful. Looks like it will be.
Yeah, I do like this invade because, as we discussed, FML really wants to push that advantage early when the Zebo's at its weakest. They have Diablo, who's strong in these corridors, and Kael'thas actually can put out a lot of damage early on.
Yeah, that was
just
a really good
this targeted burn.
Yeah, that was a really good engage too. Diablo was able to kind of split the team of Disbanded, so they were fighting in groups of 2 against 4. So it was very difficult for them to go back in without having someone fall before the engage happens. So nice work by FML, getting that early game advantage with the siege camps.
And I really like what Lucio is doing here too. He doesn't just have his healing on all the... He does have that speed boost on, which lets Diablo get into those corridors faster and get his team making those rotations and the possibility of getting a pick, or in this case, just taking down that front wall. Although they are missing a fair bit of soak in that bot lane as Nazebo is just free pushing.
Yeah, Disbanded still, because of Nizuo pushing in that bot lane, still has a little bit of an XP lead. No kills yet for either team. I actually really like the Lucio
Well,
pick with the Maiev because it's really easy, you know, for Lucio just to speed boost the entire team in. Now that he gets isolated from the team, gets pulled back into everything.
And so that's just that early rotation from FML capitalizing on Malthael being out of position.
Yeah, this is exactly what FML wants to do, right? Like when the team rolls up with just trying to get a pick, it's gonna be very difficult, I think, for Disbanded to engage onto this Sonya Diablo frontline that FML has.
Right, definitely. Because you walk in, you get a spear to the face, you get a Diablo flip, pushes you right back into a waiting Maiev and Kael'thas, and that can spell death to really anyone on that side.
FML just setting up on the shrine. Just trying to go in with Johanna. They might be able to break through that front line.
Maiev jumps in, gets that 3-man tether, and lays down that fan of knives, hitting a few of them. But at 36 to 14, I don't see any way how FML doesn't get this
super
Punisher.
chaotic. We have Hanzo in the back line trying to harass Kael'thas, but as the Punisher gets taken, the teams regroup and the front lines are reestablished.
They run because they know if that Punisher...
Yeah, the Punisher jumps, especially on the Zevo.
They're going to have a rough time. Maiev going through the wall.
I didn't know you could do that.
Well, so she blinked, and I think she just did not realize where that shade was.
Yeah, a little overshot that by a tiny bit.
They do get the front wall, and it is now a 4v3 as Malthael's picking up Soak in the mid lane and Nazebo backed. So they're going to get some good damage onto this fort. In fact, I think they're going to burn it down.
I think they're going to get it. But I also like what Nazebo and Malthael are doing, right? Being able to collect the XP in the off lanes. I feel like I say this every single time I cast this map.
Yeah,
it's just like so.
It's Deja. Whatever the
most recent game was. Like, it's really important for teams to make sure that even though the Punisher is pushing down a lane, that they get the XP from other lanes and keep up. So you notice how, like, Disbanded is still even in talent tiers with FML. They were able to soak the other two lanes as the Punisher was going in. You know, giving up that top fort isn't the worst thing that can happen in the game. Right now, the worst thing that can happen actually is that you would only defend that top fort and fall behind in XP, and you're unable to contest the next shrine. So.
Yes. The one thing to note though is, given that the shrine, the next one, is down that bot lane, I would love if FML waited to capture their top bruiser camp for that shrine to come out, because they would get a lot of value having that push in that top lane, because it wouldn't have a fort to stop that.
Yeah, it looks like both teams are opting to take the top camp. Well, Sonya, I think, is waiting. Ah, there we go. That's exactly what you're talking about.
So I think she's going to wait to be able to clear this blue side bruiser first, and maybe even wait until that shrine begins to spawn.
I like that a lot. It's, you know, she took it a little early.
Yep.
There is still a risk that someone on the side of Disbanded goes over and steals it, but it's pretty low, right?
Right. I mean, they'd be putting themselves deep on red territory, and I don't even know if they would consider that it might be gone. Malthael.
Oh, wait, Malthael actually might be sneaking this.
Oh,
no, he got it.
So that is the
that was the danger, yeah. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Lucio actually almost goes down. Sorry, he's at like 40 health. I was distracted by that steal.
Yeah, I was too.
That's some really good scouting by Malthael, actually. Like, Sonya definitely didn't expect that they would check that.
Right. So she tried to make the most of her time as that blue wave was pushing towards her, and it comes back to
Hunter. Yeah, that was some really nice heads-up play by Disbanded, knowing that, like, hey, it's probably likely that the other team's gonna do exactly what we did, and just, you know, Malthael pokes his head in and steals it.
Yep, but we have 10s on both sides now, so this is when I think the game gets real exciting. As Malthael, or Maiev,
as you were saying, here comes the cage.
Nazebo, Phoenix comes out, Arrow comes out, Jugs comes out, but not enough.
They got a little bit too close. Got pulled into the cage.
Yeah, that wall pulled in twice, by the looks of it. And they do get that Nazebo with 2 ults used on red, 2 ults used on blue.
Yeah, Apocalypse is still up.
Apocalypse is up, Sound Barrier is up. Maiev did not call it out fast enough and did not get that Sound Barrier, which I think would have saved her life.
I think it would too. I think she was just barely at that threshold where a Sound Barrier would have saved her life.
And Sonya was pushing that mid lane, and to be honest, I have no idea if Vault from Maiev can actually dodge that
Last right?
Malthael last rights tick. I imagine it can, because I think it's a true invulnerability for him.
Yes, you can. I've seen it. You can dodge it. It's the timing is a little bit tight because it's sometimes difficult to look at that animation like in the middle of a fight and like figure out when it's going to like finish.
That's
So
true.
you have to be paying attention real good there to dodge that. So having lost the fight, FML opts to instead soak lanes, get the mercenary camps, and not contest that shrine and lose potentially more. Lucio actually manages to bait the Punisher and runs away, not actually getting stunned. So some nice illustration of the bonuses from Lucio's move speed that you can get.
Yeah, so I don't expect them to lose this. Well,
they're going in for an invade. They're fighting under the Punisher, and Lucio gets taken down.
Lucio gets jumped on and beaten on, and Diablo gets rooted. Nazeebo burning him down. Apoc comes out. Nazeebo gives him the dash away, but I don't think it's going to be enough as Hanzo hits arrow. He loses 100 souls, and he is a sad demon.
Yeah, that's one of the risks, right? It's one of those things where after you run out of your own minions or minions on the forts, the fort isn't targeting heroes at that point. So it basically let Disbanded walk all over the side of FML as the Punisher was like the fifth team member in that fight. Counter engage coming out from FML.
They're choosing to go back in as Diablo comes back up. Last Rites comes out.
Ooh, nice sound barrier this time.
This time, but I think she still goes down here. As does Ooh.
Ooh.
That shield coming in big.
Oh no, he might. Okay, all right, he's good. He's good. At 41 health.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go heal. To be honest. I think.
Why would you? Why would you want that?
He did his duty.
Yeah. That was some nice work by FML. They did lose Maiev from Nazeebo's poison damage.
So, but a one for one down a talent tier is actually more beneficial for the team down. So I do like that trade.
Yep.
And how they played it.
Yeah, this is also an important shrine for FML. It is back on the top lane. I don't know what type of Punisher that's going to be yet, but this is already a lane that's weak on the side of Disbanded, so if they're able to win this shrine, they'll be pushing down a keep.
Yep, they'll be on the same talent tier, and they have that well up there, so I'd like to see them engage, and if things don't go well, to just back up, tap, and then go back in.
Right. Yeah, the well is a pretty big advantage, just for being able to stay on that shrine.
Yeah. Just looking at the stats, Lily has been doing healing, which is good. Good job.
I would hope that a healer does healing, but
right. But it's not as much as Lucio. It's not what I would consider.
Ooh, look out! FML has to be careful. There's
healing.
Disbanded is invading this bruiser camp yet again.
And
so pops the apocalypse. Yeah, he goes back into the dash.
And
sound barrier comes out early. And Diablo goes down despite having part of that sound barrier shield on him.
Yeah, like you said, I don't know how Last Rites factors in shields for that max or missing health damage. I imagine it doesn't.
It doesn't. It's missing health.
Which means
not health.
If he's missing 95% of his health, it doesn't matter how much shields you get.
Right. I mean, that's exactly it. Exactly it.
You're gonna burn through that. That's gonna deal 2k
easily
in one pulse.
Yep. Let's see. Let's look at the hero damage. Hanzo's doing a great job of poking everyone down. Malthael, 0 damage isn't too high, but his job isn't poke. His job is finishing, which he's been doing real well this game.
Yeah, and soaking those sidelines. Let's see. For those playing at home, Nazeebo is at 130 stacks, which means he is stacking appropriately.
Yeah, he's well on his way too. Yep, I mean, if he opts into that at level 20, he will be well situated to take advantage of that as soon as he picks up at level 20.
I would be very surprised if he didn't opt into that, to be honest. He's got a few minutes left to be able to stack that up. And if somehow things do not go well, that is that late game insurance policy that will just rip through this dive composition on FML eSports.
Yeah, FML in a little bit of a tough spot. I think it looks like they're going to soak the lanes, which I like. They're not taking the 16 versus 14 fight. It is still just a fort up in this top lane, so they aren't too concerned.
That fort's going to whittle down the Punisher a fair bit. in the meantime. And so what I would like to see is I'd like to see Disbanded actually get off the shrine. They've got that 16 advantage. They could go take this fort before getting the Punisher even.
It looks like they're
Because like
considering it.
I
Yeah,
they're
Sierra's yeah, they're doing exactly that.
you've got a delay on this, right? They're not listening to
they're
us
not
talk
listening. No, they're not listening to this. I'm looking at the stream. They can't see this right now, but yes. Yeah, they're doing exactly
I was just
what.
joking, but I do like to see this because this basically removes that first hurdle from the Punisher.
Right. We were
and
saying
they're gonna
that
get
we were saying that FML wasn't too concerned because there was a fort, but now that there no longer is one, FML is going to be forced to defend this keep. They're pushing.
right.
FML has a push going on in the bot lane, so that's good.
They did get their 16 advantage, which is big for Kael'thas. That's when he gets that double flame strike. So that's really going to help with the clear. Diablo got domination, so if they choose to engage, 16 really is a big spike for them.
At least you're picking up, bring it together, gives him amplified healing when close to 2 other allies. Good general healing there. Interesting they went in that instead of the percent healing with the high health target like Diablo.
So I don't know if you've seen discussion on that, but
does the map work out these days? Alright, hold it, bud. Lucio's getting taken out to 77 health and gets pulled back before he makes his
last right comes out, arrow comes through, Sonya dies as the Punisher wails away.
Yeah, it looks like this is just going to be the end of the game. Just, FML just not quite able to hold Disbanded back with the power of the Punisher on their side, acting like a 6th teammate there.
Yeah, and I think what it comes down to is those mid-game solo picks, where Disbanded just made a couple rotations that weren't predicted by FML eSports, and they picked up those leads and ran with them.
Yeah, solid play by both teams. Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, like FML had some great use of their ultimates in some of those fights. It wasn't maybe as coordinated as they would have liked, but definitely like great to see like the amount of coordination they had in the face of Disbanded, just kind of trying to push as hard as they could.
Yeah, I agree. I think FML played that early game how we hoped they would, got a bit of a lead, but then Disbanded came out later on and made the use of those ults of their other sort of poke down comp with Hanzo and Nazeebo, and then Malthael coming in and finishing off. And then they just played around the map just a little bit better.
Yeah. Solid work. I think also on the side of FML, like they didn't quite get like the combos off that they needed with their ultimates, right? We never really saw the cage being used with the Apocalypse to make sure that the Apocalypse lands combined with, Kael'thas using Phoenix in the middle of it. So, just good job by Disbanded, like making sure that combo never really happened.
Right. I think that's where that chaotic gameplay style came in. Really just making sure that FML was never in that 5 stack where they could look to get those picks like they did in that early game.
All right. Cool. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to try to get someone on the side of Disbanded in here. I don't know who it's going to be yet, but we will be right back, hopefully, with an interview. Hey guys, we have Flirtimer here from Disbanded, gonna give us a post-game interview. Flirt, how are you feeling after those 2 games?
Pretty good. Basically, what we wanted coming into those games was to not draw.
That's fair. That's always a good goal.
Well, because we always draw.
Cool. All right, yeah. So let's start. We'll go backwards, I guess. So talk us through that second game. You're facing a kind of scary composition on the side of FML. With Diablo, Sonya, and Maev potentially managing to get their combos off. How did you guys approach that, and how did you want it to deal with the kind of like hard engage comp that FML had?
Well, honestly, we weren't worried about fighting in those kind of enclosed spaces because Nazeebo is crazy strong with the frog shotgun. And then we just, Malthael cleave. We had all kinds of crazy AoE. So did they, but we had the better bully, I think.
Cool. All right. Yeah, actually, I also wanted to ask you guys about the Lily pickup. Was there a reason? I personally didn't see a reason on the side of FML to pick it up. Was it more of a comfort thing? Was it more of a just we like the blinds, or what was the thinking with that one?
Well, they picked Maiev, Diablo, Sonya. Sonya's got pretty good auto attack damage. Yeah, she does a lot of ability damage, but she's also got pretty good auto attack damage, and the blinds just shut that down, as well as taking slowing winds. Slows down Diablo, slows down Sonya, slows down Lucio, and the blind on Maiev is really good because her cleave that sucks you back in, it gets blinded out.
Oh, I did not know that actually. You learn more. You learn something every day. All
Yeah,
right.
last I knew, actually, it consumes the effect and doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it does. Which
Pete, you're holding
I
out
don't
on me,
know.
man.
Well, so I discussed that, and that very like it was level 1. Maev dashed in and got immediately blinded, and I didn't know if it was a Lily or Johanna blind, and her cleave was used, and it just said blinded right above her head, and she walked away with her head hung low. So
Well, you know, you learn something every day. So cool. All right. Pete, you got any questions for Flirt?
yeah, so you were on the Hanzo both games, right?
Yep.
So you took target practice on both maps at that level 1. And I know you see a lot of variation in terms of what Hanzos take at that level 1. So what were you thinking with that? Is there your goal just to be able to stay at range with that extra range that you get on it, or were you really looking for that extra damage as well?
Well, the range, yes. I knew in game 1 that basically if I got close to their team, I was probably dead, and that was going to spell the whole game gone for the whole team. So I knew I needed the extra range there. So my choice there at level 1 was entirely motivated by staying alive. Game 2, my level 1 pick was because if you take Exploding Arrow and Piercing, then it'll explode twice, and I really love doing that on the Shrine minions.
Ah,
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
That makes a ton of sense.
That's well thought out.
Yeah.
And then, so we were talking compositionally, both games. It kind of looked like you guys on Disbanded took this sort of poke them down, then burst them with damage at the end with finishers like Malthael's Last Rites or Junkrat's Rocket Ride. And is that a style you think you guys like to play best, or you just think it's the most fun? Or is it what you think is just most advantageous on these maps?
Well, game 1, we weren't even going for any kind of team fighting style. We were purely going for point control, just to get the shrines, then Dragon Knight, and then use the Dragon Knight for value. We weren't aiming to win 5v5 team fights until late game. And then game 2, it was, we just tried to pick kind of strong picks. Really, we didn't want to play into their game, which was the like 2 to 4 second burst team fights. And we thought if we could get some extra damage early on, then it'd give us the edge.
Okay.
Cool. All right, I do have one last question. I do want to ask, what was Malthael's reaction when he found a free camp in the second game?
He went, okay, so before that, he was saying, can I invade? Is it safe? And then he was walking over, and I said, I'll tell him when they leave bottom. And then all of a sudden we just hear, oh, it's free!
I feel like that'd be my reaction too. We were actually Pete and I were talking about that because we were like, the only thing that could go wrong is if Malthael like somehow would like decides to like check that camp. So,
Right.
That was some nice scouting.
Yep. I never see invades like that. So I
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Impressed, scared, surprised. Thought you might have been stream sniping, but apparently there's a delay. So, it clearly worked out, and that's what counts.
All right. So congrats, man. I got any shout outs for the stream?
Yeah, I got a shout out from my boy Skibo throwing frogs at people.
Frog shotgun. I love that. All right.
All right.
Cool. All right. Zemo shout out. That's it. All right. Cool. Thanks very much, Fleur. That about does it for me and Pete on this series. Again, that was Disbanded versus FML. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, go ahead and throw a subscribe my way or something, I guess. I mean, you can also find me on Twitter. I post things sometimes. So, I mean, I guess you could go there if you want. Pete, I don't think... you you have anywhere? Do you?
No, I'm pretty isolated. I'm pretty surprised I even have internet. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, send them to Falindrith, and if he chooses to let me know, he will.
Cool. I guess I'll be your mail filter. Anyway,
I
I
like
think
that.
you're gonna be back. You're gonna be back, I think, on Friday. So if you like
That's the
like this
plan.
cast, people will be back on Friday, and we hope to see you then. Thanks, guys.